You're scrolling through your Minecraft save files when you notice disturbing Minecraft videos wedged in between a few of them. But something's wrong. You didn't add them. You didn't put them there, and every time you check, there's more. This is exactly what happened to James, leading him to uploading the random appearing videos to the channel. We have to talk about this. But what story are these videos trying to tell? And can we piece the story together ourselves? The first video, titled Gameplay 1.17, starts with lag, and what appears to be someone starting fresh on a new world. But where things get interesting is when jumping ahead, where he walks down into a cave system and the screen flashes black. Whoever we're watching continues pushing on, and the screen goes black again, in bunches, eventually revealing what seemed to be a dark path leading to some sort of house, only for the video to cut again, this time to whoever we're watching making their way through a birch forest. And then, beeping begins. It seemed like some sort of Morse code, and the video ends here. Now, nothing extremely shocking had come from this short video, but by re-listening to the Morse code, it spelled out the letters EADTH. Taking this and running it through a Caesar cipher hits a dead end, but unscrambling the letters reveals the word death. I wasn't sure what to do with this, but the beeping didn't seem to be the only code, as by turning on captions on the YouTube video, the letters OHDYH, when passed through Caesar cipher, come out to the word leave. Were these words potentially foreshadowing something? Something attached to the weird house I'd seen in between the black flashes? For now, I would be left entirely in the dark, leading me to the community post, where there seemed to be a Q&A held by James, with one of the questions asking,
"Are these fake?"
With James replying,
I mean, I don't know, their date is 2022, now 2024, and besides, they just appeared out of nowhere in my roaming folder. Speaking of which, the strange thing is that it started happening after that flash drive.
The user responds,
"That flash drive?"
and James gets back to him.
Yeah, I'll try and explain later.
Wait, what? Who did these videos belong to? I hit play on the next, titled Creating First Monolith. This next video opens up as usual for any Minecraft gameplay footage, although remembering that this is a random video found in James's save files, I watched cautiously, as whoever was playing this time wasn't suffering from jittery gameplay. As they take their time building out what seems to be their new home, the chat opens for the first time.
Beautiful.
Whoever W was begins inspecting their base, before quickly realizing if he wants windows he's going to need sand.
Oh man, I forgot glass.
And as W is busy in his crafting table, the same similar black flash we've seen in the first video appears again. Was this simply the recording software just bugging out? It couldn't be, as W's behavior changed in such a way that almost indicated the acknowledgement of these black flashes, only stopping to look out into the mist.
Okay, kinda strange.
It's slightly unclear what W is referring to here, whether it was the flashes of darkness or maybe something that I had missed. That being said, I fast forwarded the video until I caught W with copper in hand crafting a copper block, and when he goes to place it, what was that? Despite the acknowledgement of the previous flashes, W didn't seem to have noticed what just happened, to the point where he simply mines the block and picks it right back up.
We be coppering.
He runs back out of the house. A black sheep can be seen, and as we are getting closer to it, it's strangely not moving at all. And once W pays mine to it, the video cuts forward.
Bro, I got this sheep's meat like from the start.
Was W implying that the sheep was bugged, potentially answering why it was standing so still?
Sus.
I fast forwarded a little more into the video, where he makes another copper block, this time taking both pieces outside.
There.
Placing both of them, creating a small monolith with no glitchy or weird screens appearing. For some weird reason, W is so determined to get this monolith finished, and despite the world slowly turning to night, he crafts yet another block of copper, placing it atop his copper tower. I thought it was interesting how, even though it was totally normal, only the one side where the monolith was being built, the fog had turned red. Whilst back towards his base, the sky remained blue. W speaks once more,
That shall do it.
and the video comes to a close here. Now, no hidden messages or captions were found, just patches of dark screens and possibly a buggy sheep. And even when checking the description, it didn't even seem to mention any of this.
Creating a monolith made of damn copper. Also, I want to talk to Mojang.
I wasn't sure how this tied to Mojang, and with the black flashy screens not coming out as Morse code, I was again a little lost. But then I checked the YouTube comment section, finding a comment by James containing a code, more specifically Unicode. Then when keeping only the numbers and moving it through a decoder, it came out with a link to an unlisted YouTube video, a YouTube video titled Something New. This video opens up with W hiding behind a wall, where suddenly he starts typing rapidly.
Okay guys, I want to show you something.
He peeks around the corner, revealing what seems to be the copper monolith, only this time it now looks different.
Is this supposed to be?
The screen is still flashing to black, this time much heavier than before, and as W heads for his door, peering out at the monolith, he explains himself.
I left the game after I built my first structure of copper, and then this appeared after I left.
The screen and audio cuts and flashes more, before an airy sound can be heard coming from the monolith. Almost as if it were calling W to come closer, and he does, observing the black roots it had grown along with the strange block that had formed out of the copper.
Concrete?
He hits them before hitting the strange middle block, and the screen goes haywire. Whatever this thing was, it was setting itself up, and whatever we had just witnessed seemed like some form of deterrent, as the block itself changed pattern.
Huh? It changed. It's unbreakable. Is this normal?
The further he distances himself from it, the block then releases particles, and only moments later, when W is back at mining this strange block, the screen glitches once more, with the copper block on the bottom changing texture too, and the video ends right here. Had I not scrolled down on the previous video's comments, I doubt I would have ever found this video, and with it showing something so pivotal, I'm glad I did. Whatever this monolith was, it seemed to be protective, not allowing W to dismantle it now that it was built, and this thing was here to stay, with even somehow, in the final frame of this video, changing the player's user data. But this wasn't all. I realized these dates in these descriptions weren't when James found the videos in his Minecraft files, but instead they were when the videos were actually created, meaning the previous video and the video we had just watched were only one day apart, meaning if the day of creation really mattered, this was the start of a timeline, one I'd have to follow, pushing me to the next video. This video begins with who I can only guess to be W, back in his own world recording with the screen flashing black sporadically, and whilst doing so, a strange sound begins to play, as W reveals that the monolith he had previously built had now finalized its transformation. The footage then cuts to darkness, leaving the game feeling choppy as W types.
All done.
He keeps observing his guarded monolith before typing once more,
Okay.
where he then turns back to his house as the screen flashes black again, this time fixing his lag.
So, after a time, this thing started to grow.
We knew now clearly there was something shared between the black flickering screens and the monolith. So as he finishes explaining how the monolith came to existence, he walks back towards it. And this time, he starts mining the blocks. Surprised that this time it broke, he picks it up. Astral block. From here, W mines part of the pillar, revealing the block name.
Astral copper? This is crazy creepy.
Surprised and creeped out, he still pushes on investigating.
It also spread this black thing.
For now, it seemed like his cobblestone walls were containing the mess he had accidentally created, and as he heads back home, he begins recounting how he now has diamonds.
I forgot, I got diamonds also.
And given the creepy situation, it was best to keep a sword around.
But judging by this situation, it's better to be a sword.
And leaving us with his last haunting words.
Will this cobble keep this thing out?
And leaving me to only wonder, what did W mean by this? Keep what out exactly? Was there something W knew about the monolith that we didn't? This aside, the black flashing, despite checking again, came out to no type of Morse code. Was it maybe a signal, some type of alarm, warning the player in a way that wasn't a message? This for now would remain a mystery, leaving me with only the description.
I discovered a new type of blocks. Astro blocks. Is this just a new blocks that Mojang added? I don't know.
Whoever W was, this video was recorded just one day after the last one. The timeline here was really starting to shape up. And with the next video titled First Trouble in Morse code, I was more than ready to hit play. This next video opens up looking nothing like the previous three, with whoever is playing here walking in what seemed like an endless void, with only his torch to help him guide the way. But then I realized closed captions were available on this video. I turned them on and kept watching. Whoever was playing here had what seemed like a book and then a key, not to mention the 2 extra hearts. Maybe this insinuated importance. Regardless, this person hops up onto a higher block, continuing his rhythm of walking where more begins to pop up. And then the monolith, the same exact monolith that W had built, with no walls this time around protecting the outside from it. But whoever this player is, they don't hesitate, opening the book in hand with it reading,
"You know what to do, aren't you?"
I kept watching as whoever this player is approaches the monolith and is here. He uses the key. A sentence pops up.
"Protocol has been activated."
And what sounds like winding of an old clock can be heard. Our player reopens the book to write activated normal, only for an in-game message to pop up in chat. Our player turns to the monolith, shaking his or her head back and forth as the screen continued to flicker, only for things to take a turn for the worse. Sounds from the monolith start to pick up, and whoever we're watching backs up quickly as the monolith explodes. The sounds wane and the video comes to a stop. What in the world were these videos doing in James's save files? For starters, there was no way that was W. Or was it? Did the player data that was changed in the unlisted video potentially change W? This would have to remain unanswered. That being said, as the monolith was erupting, words on screen appeared too, with the first words being "I won't allow it," along with "I failed," revealing itself as a closed caption at the end of the video. This screamed to me this someone worked for something, that this was their sole responsibility and that they had failed. The only real question now was who, if this person was some type of worker, did they work for? And if this was W's world, where was he now? With no proper date in the description, I scrolled down to the comments, where one comment was written by none other than James.
Okay, James speaking. I found this footage in the roaming folder, in the folder that is called Save. I'll try to find more.
This next video opens up with sounds of a nether portal, and our player is dropped on a dark stone mountain. The screen flashes again, with familiar darkness we'd seen before, and an oddly serene droning begins playing in the background. The player we're watching grabs a feel for the area they've landed in, noticing that they're in fact on what appears to be some form of floating island. And it's here chat messages pop up, notifying whoever this was that they had indeed been silenced, making it harder to tell who we were really watching here. Despite all of this, our player pushes on, running towards what seemed to be signposts, the only spot on the floating island that seemed to give some sort of clue. They're slightly hesitant to approach at first, but naturally, curiosity always wins.
Oops, sorry, but we saw a suspicious activity in your SP world.
SP world.
Welcome to the Void, W. Just stay tuned before we fix everything in the world. All the best. Mojang.
What does SP stand for? This is W? W freaks out. Where is he? He checks his inventory, realizing everything he still had from the world he's known is still on him. He doesn't know it, but clearly the monolith changed something he can't go back to. W makes his way around the floating stone island, fully coming to the realization that he's potentially stuck, that the moon above him is his only company, and that the world he once knew is gone. Here on this floating rock, he's trapped. Suddenly, a weird sound can be heard. The music is melodic, not droning, and the screens are still flashing black occasionally. W crafts his own crafting table to, well, create signposts. As this chat wasn't working, this would be his only means of talking.
What is going on?
He places yet another signpost.
I can't write in chat anymore.
W tries to chat once more, but it's no use. With no way up and no way down, he helplessly tries, only to be met with void. And in the despair that W is in, it grows alongside the eerie music, and the video cuts W off right here.
How do I escape the...
Where in the world was W? Nothing about this felt analytical. There were no codes, no hints, just a description that read,
I don't have any words to say. I'm starting to think that my game was actually somehow corrupted, also disabled. Does this mean something? Or Mojang just did a lil oopsie?
What did Mojang have anything to do with this monolith? It seemed to me James was giving the space of the YouTube description to the notes attached to the videos. All this to say, the date on this video's creation served as our biggest indicator that, in W's words, game corruption happened on the same exact day as his last video, making the unknown worker who triggered the monolith to have done so somewhere in between W's two videos. And with a video titled Floating Island, I only hoped I'd get the answers I was looking for. The video opens back up with W building outwards on a singular block, in what seemed like an attempt to find out if there was more than just a stone island he'd been placed on. This goes on for a good amount of time, with W occasionally turning back to see how far he's gone, but yet nothing changes. The flashes of darkness are still sporadically appearing, until, is that another island? The screen goes dark, we hear footsteps. W is walking back up a hill he's felt on his feet before, or has he? Is he somehow back on his island? How? W turns over towards where the signposts originally were, with this time none in sight. Could this be another indicator that he is in fact on another island? He turns back up the hill. A farm. This is a different island. W approaches the odd farm with glow squid, passing by before stopping on what seemed like some sort of old attempt at a monolith. He notices the tempting pressure plates. Without a second doubt, he triggers them, curious to see what would happen next. But instead of it triggering anything in-game, the closed captions on this YouTube video popped up. This looked like base 64 that we'd have to look into later, as W would then continue to explore, taking a look at some sort of memorial before turning for the house, with a signpost above the door reading V's house. The chest W explores has tons of valuable resources, and again, without hesitation, W takes what he needs, or better yet, what he thinks will come in handy later for whatever he's got himself into. And then, on the very final frame of this video, the singular word float appears on screen. This video was eye-opening. W had found another island, one that not only hinted at others like him, but confirmed it. With the name of another player being V, I wondered if there were 26 players in total, each named after the alphabet, or if this was all just a coincidence. Regardless, I now knew there were multiple holding islands, bays that seemed to keep these players separated or protected from something. But the code that had appeared as a closed caption seemed to give an abstract clue: float with me. This message had to have been left behind by none other than V, and what it truly meant, for now, would also remain a mystery. With all this aside, it's here I realized the timeline based on the dates in the description of these videos wasn't the easiest way of figuring out the storyline, but instead using a character tracker that let me bundle and follow the stories by player definitely was, as it was obvious the first video we had watched wasn't W, yet the following 5 definitely were. If I wanted to figure out the rest of the storylines to these random videos, this would be the best way forward. This next video starts laggy, with a new player named Alex Does Mining collecting lava before jumping further down into a deeper cave where the lag only gets much worse. Then the video cuts. Water is heard and we find Alex deep in a mineshaft. It's here the music has stopped, and as Alex continues exploring, despite the video being choppy, we can still hear the odd cave sounds, keeping his footsteps company. And soon enough, he's found himself back up on the surface in full daylight. What was that about? We fast forward the video slightly to Alex now in pure darkness, and for the first time in this video, he speaks.
What the heck is this? Is this normal?
The game freezes and lags some more.
I might just leave it here.
Alex hovers around the same area for a while, swimming in this weird piece of terrain generation before placing a block and moving on to farming pigs, where here, the video abruptly cuts off. This new video that had appeared in James's save files showing the perspective of a new player, this time around someone named Alex, allowing me to add yet another player to our new character tracker. And with the description only mentioning how laggy and odd the generation was, I couldn't help but feel that this video felt a little lackluster compared to the others, but if it was anything like W's, I was willing to watch on. This video opens in what appears to be a village. It's unknown who is playing here until they begin to type.
I'm out of wood.
It's Alex again. He begins tearing down a village house as one does, whilst the screen continues to flash dark in sporadic sequences. After crafting tools, Alex seems to run around the village, almost as if he's waiting for something. For someone. And his game lags throughout, forcing me to fast forward slightly, allowing us to catch Alex paused staring into the foggy abyss, where after numerous flashes on screen, a debug message pops up in game, one similar to a video we had seen by W. Alex begins to move again, this time only stopping to smelt his eye. Alex begins to panic. He struggles to make his way around and the video
What the heck?
comes to a stop. Whatever happened at the end of this video remains a mystery even now, but one thing was for sure, this was a continuation of the previous video, as with Alex being in both, and the first video ending at night only for this one to pick right back up. It fit into the character tracker perfectly. But here was where I was slightly confused. I noticed the tree Alex had run past in the previous video looked awfully similar to the tree the mystery player in the very first video had also run past too, meaning that these two videos and the very first video ever uploaded on this channel were all Alex, completing yet another character storyline. This time, we had just seen Alex start to play, enter a cave only to be spooked by something, then to run out and have his game entirely change, just like how W's videos revealed a sequence of events with a mysterious twist. It seemed like to me Alex's player data was also miraculously changed, similar to W, and with this new pattern recognized, the new video titled Details sounded promising. The video opens with a camera filter-like visual, and our player is at half a heart. As they're walking, the sounds of bats is close, but we aren't in a cave, as whoever we're watching turns around to reveal daylight from down a rectangular hallway, and as they walk towards it, the light shifts into a square, revealing a doorway. As this player continues walking further down, they pass a painting, too dark to make out even now, but the next one's clearer, a strider. This all is happening whilst quiet piano is playing in the background. From here they keep moving, spotting another painting, this time of a nether mushroom, then one that to me looked like the strange terrain Alex once saw. Then, call me crazy, but what looked like the same house I'd seen in between the black flashes from the very first video seemed to also be on this painting. And finally, just before the screen fades to black, what looked like a chunk of terrain. What was this place? That I had no clue. But with the video now ended, it was clear we'd been watching someone stuck in a dark art gallery of sorts. Although what stood out the most to me was the description. I absolutely don't know what the actual heck is going on with my world. I'm about to get to files. If I find something, I'll record it and send there. Who was talking here? Despite the video seeming to be created on the same day as the previous video we'd watched, this wasn't Alex, as even the weird health bar was a pretty sturdy indicator. This wasn't anyone I'd seen before, allowing me to mark down this player in the character tracker as unknown player 1. But there was a painting that looked somewhat familiar in that art gallery, the one that pictured a house, looking awfully similar to the house we had seen in between the black flickering in the first ever video. Whatever the connection, I really hoped we'd find out who this player was soon. The video opens in pure darkness, and to my best guess, observing how this player had only half a heart, this video was picking right back up after the last. Or is it? Footsteps can be heard, and in the distance, something blurry takes shape, a doorway, into a room with a strange, unsettling vibe. Music begins to play, as whoever we're watching picks up a lantern from the floor.
Perfect. This will keep the characters away.
Characters? What did they mean by this? Hold on, what are these weird structures? Suddenly, this player walks straight into a Steve statue, and the word feel pops up. Getting closer to another triggers the same thing, and then again, and again. I thought maybe it was just me at first, but it felt like these statues' heads were tilting towards our player, following him as he moved around. As he wanders through this ocean of frozen Steves, a faint squeak breaks the silence. Before he reaches a wall.
I need something to break this wall.
Why this wall in particular? Has he been here before? He turns back around, reaching another side of the large room, coming across this time what seems to be a well-built staircase. It takes him a moment to figure this out, mainly because of how dark it was, but once he does, he climbs quickly, desperate to escape, but only finding himself on a second level. Something feels different here. No Steves are in sight, yet some sort of altar exists in the middle. At first, he starts strong, carefully heading towards it but detouring, bumping into strange placements of blocks, then another, this time featuring a noticeable well-dug-out hole. Had someone escaped here already? Naturally, there's curiosity here, but our player continues moving with caution, bumping into a crumbled staircase where he talks once more.
It seems like there is no escape.
Despite looking around for an alternative path, it's no use. He has to find out what's now in the middle of the room, and as he commits to it, he bumps into a chest.
Chest is locked.
Forcing him to follow the red carpet leading directly to the mysterious altar. Where as he gets closer, a Steve character appears from the darkness, frozen, made of stone, just like the ones downstairs, almost as if Medusa had given him one glance.
This statue does not seem normal.
A weird sound plays, and the same squeaking sound similar to earlier in the video repeats itself. And our player does the unexpected, hopping up onto a block to take a closer look at this statue, where it becomes clear something red, perhaps some form of crown, rests on its head, and then a signpost, with the only word I could make out being statue. Wherever our unknown player is remains a mystery, and as he makes his way back downstairs, crossing the Steves, the word feel has now turned to trust, this time spoken by someone called A. With this new change, he keeps wandering. Desperate to see a way out, he walks to the far end of the room, finding a key. A key to what? He picks it up and it clicks. The chest upstairs. He runs to the second level with the same idea, cracking it open and finding a pickaxe amongst the cobwebs. It's here he knows exactly what he wants to do with this. This time heading back downstairs to the wall that he had previously looked at. And here he commits to the escape. The screen goes black. The sounds of a scream and heavy breathing can be heard, and the video reaches its close. So much just happened in one video that it honestly gave shape to a lot of answers. First off, the idea of alphabet players being real suddenly didn't feel that far-fetched, along with how when our unknown player heads back downstairs, not only do the statues stop saying feel and start saying trust, but they're saying it as someone, specifically someone named A, instantly calling back to the speculation I had earlier about alphabet players. Sure, it's a bit of a stretch, but if A was here in this room, did that mean other players up to V could be here too? This felt like a tad bit too much of a reach, since even if this were true, there were way too many statues to just match the alphabet. With no idea how they ended up here in this dark and mysterious area, all I did know was that this was also Unknown Player 1, allowing me to group up this video with the previous, putting the story together that this unknown player landed somehow in this art gallery, eventually leading him to the statue room that he figured he could escape from, and leaving me staring at the next title, Rubido, Latin for red. This video starts with someone walking in a dark yet almost circular looking space, with fog and eerie music in the background and the torch being the only thing illuminating the ground beneath. The blocks looked nether-like, but nothing I had ever seen before, and as he continues walking through the area, he comes across skeletal remains. Potentially someone had died here, someone who had walked his exact same path. Yet he continues to walk, going further and further, only to find another, then another. Then he freezes, as he spots something in the distance, and almost immediately, reflecting his realization that something was down here with him, the music stops, and it's only his footsteps that keep him company. He hurries closer, curious and intrigued, only for the space around him to get darker. He gets closer. The sounds of whatever he's walking on changes, sounding flesh-like, almost as if this place he was in was the belly of some sort of beast. But this couldn't be right, as he comes across a bloody switch, and after looking around cautiously, he doesn't hesitate to flick it, and a debug text pops up. Wait, what? The game goes quiet. What in the world was that ending? It felt like this player was in some sort of belly of the beast, or better yet, the lair of a beast, a place where a monster of sorts would drag their victims, leaving only skeletons behind. The only thing that would challenge this was the lever. These videos were truly feeling like a build-up to something, and I wondered how interconnected they all truly were, as the connection I was starting to see here between the monoliths, the statues, and the switch was almost making itself out to be some sort of test, with the video First Trouble showing someone clearly panicking over the monolith erupting. I had this weird feeling the monoliths were there to protect from whatever was out there. The question now was, what? This question would lead me to adding one more video to a new player category, Unknown Player 2, along with taking a closer look at the final seconds of this video, where the stairs from the previous video can be seen. Then Alex cave exploring, potentially noticing something, and the last image being someone looking out to a cut-off sunset. What did it stand for? With the next video titled Out of Breath, similar to how I was feeling after all these unanswered questions, I hit play. Now this next video opens in pure darkness. So dark, I've had to brighten the video for you. Whoever we're watching, we can hear their heart racing. They seem to be hiding from something, as footsteps that aren't ours can be heard. It seems the player we're watching has seen something in the darkness, something we can't see at all. The video cuts, it comes back in. The tension is rising, but what for? The music picks up, our player now sprinting, running away as the video cuts in and out. He runs as fast as he can. Overall, the sound of our player landing in water can be heard. It seems like our player escaped successfully. The question now was at what cost? Judging by this super short video and taking note it was someone playing as Steve, I instantly added this video into again a new unknown player category. This was Unknown Player 3, as there was no way this was anyone from the past videos, as the health bar and the look of their hearts was completely different. But despite the influx of additional unknown players, my speculation of all these videos seemingly alluding to one massive crisis felt more and more realistic. All these players were crossing unique yet strange things without fail, and from this angle, the videos were starting to look different, which brought me back to the community channel posts, whereby James had found something slightly different in his game files.
Does anyone here know what Minecraft Diamond Edition is? I found this file in a gift folder and have absolutely no idea how it got here.
Diamond Edition? It looked as if this time James wasn't faced with videos appearing in his save files, but rather a version of Minecraft, where it seemed to me it looked like for the next 3 videos he was about to show everything. The video opens up with James, which is mildly strange considering we've only been watching videos he's found in his save files.
Sup, James here. So I decided to bring a new content onto my channel instead of posting those weird looking videos from my roaming folder.
Regardless, the video moves fairly quickly. At first, James notices whoever he's playing as has a new skin.
Whoa, that looks sick.
From here, it does like what any average player would do when starting a new world. Only this time, James starts explaining how and why these disturbing Minecraft videos started appearing in his game files in the first place.
This hell started to happen when I once found a little thingy that looked like a USB. I connected it to my laptop. There was nothing in this USB, though it kind of said, "Do not open." After a whole 2 years I saw these videos in my roaming. Not going to lie, I was startled.
In between his explanation, he picks up on a couple strange Minecraft changes, from animal fat being dropped,
Wait, what? Animal fat?
sidetracking with explaining his English,
About my weird English. I'm actually not from America. I was born in a city named Cookmore.
before going back to noticing another strange Minecraft change.
What the? Bleeding.
From here, what felt like a horror fan-made version of Minecraft is played for only a minute longer, before ending randomly and moving us to part 2 of this walkthrough.
Just to continue with the last episode.
Nothing super outlandish takes place here. Torches seem to extinguish after a certain amount of time, which is weird for sure, but nothing disturbing. And the blood we had previously seen in, well, the previous video was also found in puddles. For only moments later, illagers with golden armor to appear and begin attacking James. This part of the walkthrough kind of just ends. Not much more is shown, which leads us to the final part.
There's some shit going on with this version. I have to find more information about this version. Maybe it's somehow connected to these videos, but it doesn't make any sense. Maybe Wikipedia can tell more.
This video opens up with James, this time saying he's found out a lot more about this version.
There's so much going on. Let me explain. After playing for a little bit, I found out much more.
And then proceeds to explain how he's found new items.
Such as this bottle with a flag. Also this key which opens spawners.
Where from here, he continues walking. Until... what was that? Text in purple pops up on screen.
Drums begin to echo in the distance.
Huh.
Confused, he keeps walking, finding himself swimming, where he randomly hears a creeper, but nothing is nearby.
Oh, what the heck?
Moving only a couple seconds further into the video, James has found himself back on land, where more odd anomalies continue to happen, including, again, that all too familiar disturbing sound effect. This weird sound keeps playing in odd intervals throughout this video.
I need to build a house. I don't feel safe anymore, to be honest.
I fast forwarded the video a little more, where a creeper sound is heard yet again, yet no creeper. And as James is standing atop a hill, pigs below look at him, staring at him.
What the hell?
Were they staring at him, or was there something behind him? The flowers begin rocking in the background too, then text similar to what was seen in the detail video pops up above the hotbar.
I hear it breathing.
The sounds continue to play, as James drops down and continues pushing forward, eventually placing his bed down and sleeping next to what seemed like an unrendered cave. As here, I fast forwarded the video to James at night, heading to bed. But something's wrong. The game doesn't seem like it wants him to sleep, and after 2-3 minutes of fighting to fall asleep...
You don't feel tired right now.
What do you mean?
What? What in the world was that? Rain begins to pour before the boss health bar appears on the top of the screen. Undead army. The rain turns off his torches.
What the heck?
The weird sounds returns once more. The sound intensifies. The video then ends here, putting an end to James's playthrough videos. James had now unintentionally entered the character tracker as our 4th player. covering the backstory and giving us a look at Diamond Edition. Maybe this was where all these disturbing videos were being recorded on, as the oddities that James had just witnessed quite literally, at least to me, screamed it. But this wouldn't be all. I noticed strange little things. For one, the items that James had found, including a key, seemed super similar to the previous player, stuck in the room full of statues, and not to mention the similar key to what the worker had used to activate the monolith on W's world. With all of this in mind, I used the description to James's final gameplay video as a clue to get some answers.
But it doesn't make any sense. Maybe Wikipedia can tell more.
This exact sentence would actually set me on a 2-week search, as searching Diamond Edition wiki led me to only dead ends. And now that James had unintentionally joined the group of mysterious videos he had found in his own Minecraft save files, I was curious on what would be next. This video opens up super distorted, blurry with some sort of character or player with an abnormally long arm. It's hard to tell where it truly is, but it seemed like some sort of mouse maze, and as this being makes its way through, a message pops up on screen.
This map is already done for it. It's really sad to see how these worlds fall apart that easily.
And suddenly, the same squeaking and eerie sharp high-pitched sounds we had heard before can be heard here too.
They are like humans. One of them die, one of them birthed to light.
It seemed whoever was talking was observing this creature.
And to be honest, I like to see how creations like this fall apart right in front of eyes. I feel like this is wrong, like my taste is not that normal.
The camera bugs out in a similar way we had seen before in an early W video. The video from here on out just follows whatever this thing is. And once whatever this thing reaches a computer, the video abruptly ends. Now this video gave an instant clue. What if the thing disturbing every one of these players across all of these videos was this creature? Whoever AP24 was, they sounded like a twisted scientist, testing the creature in a maze-like structure, almost like a lab rat trial. It felt like AP24 was studying how this strange, skinny-armed being perceived reality, its ability to move through and make sense of its environment whilst also destroying it in the process. That this creature was responsible for the way even the video looked. What made it worse was AP24 casually mentioning other creations.
They are like humans. One of them die, one of them birthed to light.
Was this the same thing that had been taunting players all along? Or were there multiple versions already out there, hunting the people in these mysteriously appearing videos? If so, why AP24? What did AP and 24 stand for? If I wanted the truth, if I wanted the real answers, I'd have to move on to the next video. This video opens up with a VHS loading, and honestly, what you're about to see, what you're about to hear, only can do itself justice.
Local residents of this street often complained of a strange smell coming from House 43. The smell resembled an outstanding smell of iron mixed with the burnt smell of campfire smoke and an acrid odor reminiscent of paracetamol.
The footage then begins to lighten, and the male reporter mentions a substance I'd never heard before.
Scientists have recorded that this phenomenon may be a consequence of the release of a recently discovered acid, nicknamed crimson acid.
Here, another reporter's voice chips in as the footage continues to lighten.
During a total investigation of the crime scene, stains of washed blood were found using an ultraviolet flashlight, which formed into a puddle near the bed. Although no stains were found on the bed itself, no fingerprints were found either, but a fragment of black-tinged fabric was found, presumably from the owner of the apartment.
The deep-voiced reporter comes back in to reveal the victim's name.
The resident of this apartment was not found. It is assumed that the apartment was robbed. The neighbors noticed that the owner of this apartment was Ben Drusware, who used to live with his son Garrett Drusware. However, according to them, they were them, and upon detailed interrogation, they noticed that they had left this apartment about 4 days ago. The new owner of this apartment is a person with the name Marcus Davis.
The video cuts. Marcus Dav. Suddenly, who in the world was that? Why would someone who is missing have their eyes blacked out? The video cuts to Minecraft footage, where we find whoever we're watching in a cave. They sound almost robotic, drone-like, shuffling. Whoever this is keeps walking. Other eerie sounds can be heard, sounds that aren't anything usual for a cave. And yet whoever this is keeps on moving. They look behind themselves as if something was hidden, stalking, preying on them. Yet they continue to move, before looking down and revealing why he was moving so slow in the first place. Grabbing it, they hesitate. The video fades to black. The sound of his body slumping, dropping to the ground can be heard. And the music, unexpectedly begins to play. This video was wild from the very start, opening with 3 reporters discussing a bizarre unsolved murder. They mention a substance called crimson acid, and then a missing person named Marcus Dav, complete with a mugshot. But the real twist came in the second half, where we find ourselves watching Unknown Player 4, as the second half of this video seemed to be connected to Out of Breath. It took me a bit, but I figured this out by simply putting them side by side, creating a full story. For this player, their incident was running away from some sort of odd creature, and when running away, further down a dark cave, they fall through a weak mine shaft, landing on the ground below and seriously injuring themselves, bringing us to the current video, with the monster followed behind, but yet our player has still managed to escape, until the pain becomes overwhelming and they collapse. With all these videos starting to intertwine, I was more than ready to hit play on this next video. We find ourselves watching someone playing as Steve wandering down a dark pathway. The pathway seems to be lined with not just lampposts but also cauldrons that every time he comes across one, he feels the need to randomly check. The atmosphere starts to become clearer, brighter the further he walks, and it becomes obvious that we're in some sort of sky or abyss. And as our player continues to walk, a rectangular building reveals itself. Our player, with a level of hesitation, enters, with a breeze of air we had been hearing the entire time, stopping, almost characterizing his moment of clarity in deciding to push on as he enters, walking through as the world in front of him comes to life. He turns, looking behind him to see the doorway before heading forwards. What seemed like some sort of large antennae can be seen afar. Whatever this player is walking on now sounds metallic. And as he approaches the antennae, pausing, observing, before typing,
"Let it be it."
What? He steps back, the video glitches. The screen goes dark, eventually cutting the video off here. The details from this video had stuck with me. For starters, a player named S. They seemed less like a casual player and more like someone for whatever organization was behind all of this. But the way S willingly leapt into whatever that was felt less like gameplay and more like a calculated sacrifice. Maybe these alphabet players weren't just players, they were workers. The line to me was really starting to blur here. Nevertheless, I added S to the character tracker and scrolled down to the comments, where someone pointed out that S paid close attention to every single cauldron, and not for nothing, but because in fact they were binary that when decoded with a string separated in 6 instead of 8 gave me the letters SBR. From here, I brought these 3 odd letters into a Caesar cipher decoder, and by shifting the letters 14 upwards, it became END. The end for S, or the end for this whole thing? I hope the Morse code at the end of this video would hopefully give me the running sentence to this word, but instead it came out to "you will not hear, you will not understand, you will only end?" This didn't seem to make sense, leaving me with no other choice but to move on to the next video, titled Family and Friendly.
Good evening. Have you always wanted to see what is behind the curtains? Have you always wanted to discover something new in your favorite game? Then MCFF gives you a chance to fulfill your cherished wish in our newest version, MC Diamond Edition.
This is connected to Diamond Edition?
First of all, let's explain what our company MCFF is based on. MCFF is a secret campaign whose goal is to find the hidden material of retro games or games whose pixel expansion does not exceed 1028 by 1028. You may wonder why Minecraft is involved in our company. The reason for this outcome of events was that our company is constantly changing its name depending on which game we are conducting a deep search on. There is no final name for our company. If you have listened to the information before, it means that you are participating in our company. And as participants in this company, we will immediately provide several step-by-step instructions and warnings. So listen carefully. In our company you can find closed access versions, video material, information about future versions of games, and much more that is not available in the public domain. When participating in a company, you must follow several rules. 1. Do not distribute information outside the project. All data that is in the project must remain inside the project and not be distributed outside it. 2. When interacting with other project participants, observe appropriate behavior and do not try to breed conflict. There is a high chance that during a conflict, all information can be distributed outside the project. 3. Maintain anonymity. Do not try to use your real names and information from real life, because there is a high chance that your data may be stolen, depending on whether they are reliable or not. We are not responsible for your safety. 4. When participating in our project, make sure that there is no one around you. If you do not notice the activity around you, then you can safely start participating in our company. Make sure that you are really alone. 5. When participating in our project, it is not recommended to use alcohol, narcotic substances, and other drugs that contribute to a change in human consciousness. We are absolutely against this, and we want our company to remain clean and quiet. And finally, 6. Try not to carry metal or ceramic objects with you.
The video cuts to someone heavily breathing, and suddenly, closed captions pop up.
Are you sure that you did it all right?
Yes, I'm sure.
It won't disconnect us once again, will it?
No, it won't.
We already wasted a lot of time just trying to finish one simple job.
What is going on here? Do these guys work for MCFF? Whoever is behind this camera starts hitting switches.
I'm so tired, man.
I know you are, but this is our job.
I still can't believe I agreed to stay in this company for a little more time.
These are clearly workers talking, and whoever is filming continues to breathe heavily, almost as if they've run away from something.
Your choice and your blames.
Just don't cry all over the keyboard when we're back tomorrow.
The video continues where the duo are now talking. Something has gone wrong again.
Oh god damn it, dude.
Again?
This just doesn't make any sense. We wasted 4 months just to make this script finally work.
It's hard to tell what they're referring to, as the video suddenly cuts again to a boy playing with his dog on a hill. The heavy breathing doesn't seem full of struggle anymore, and the final closed caption gives us a code. The formal voice cuts back in.
If you follow our rules and participate in our project, remember, your actions are not judged, but further violations of the rules will cost you dearly. Thank you very much for taking part in our company, MCFF. And remember, we will reveal all the secrets.
What in the world had I just watched? For starters, MCFF. Was this truly an organization? Had James all this time been sharing videos of lost media from lost Minecraft versions? Had I actually pieced more of the story together from all these jumbled, mismatched uploads? To me, it felt like I had, and yet despite the warnings in this video, someone had very obviously leaked everything. Now I just wondered if they were connected to the potential murder and the missing person. For now, like a lot of my questions, this would remain unanswered, as the video itself felt like an onboarding tape. Something for new recruits or applicants to MCFF, almost like an invitation, the kind of thing you'd stumble across on a strange hidden forum page, left there for someone like you or me to find. Which leads me to the final detail of this video, the binary code, which when followed, gives us the image of a glowing ore block in green. The easy question here was why and what was the significance of this image? This again would be added to my pile of loose ends, finally taking me to the description.
Welcome, visitor. This video will allow you to get comfortable with our company and find out a small amount of information, including how to comply with the rules and requirements. Stay tuned for more content.
But hold on a second, this video is dated far earlier than even the first video on this channel. This can only mean that this organization has been running quietly all this time.
I am really losing my patience here. It's been almost three,
goddamn. Months to finish one simple job.
What happened again?
Textures again got fucked up.
I understand you there. This just doesn't make any sense. That script seems unreal at all.
Have you checked the script? Maybe you misspot the texture location.
They keep talking about a
I
script.
checked it again to see if the texture in the script is written right.
And I rechecked it again last night. Everything was supposed to be fine.
Why cannot owner just give us other work if he sees how we struggle doing one thing?
I was asking the same. It would be easy to work with the sound add-ins, then with this stupid script.
Owner.
I myself do not understand owner lately.
Who is the owner?
All it talks about is how important those NPCs are.
NPC? The lady in the call begins talking about R, the same person we'd heard speaking in the previous video.
Also, have you heard about R?
What about him?
I haven't seen him for a while.
He is a hell one of a guy.
When I last talked to him, he seemed to be patient with his work, though I don't get where he is right now.
Mother states that he got a pretty disgusting disease. I hope he will get better.
Someone's mother? The video cuts. Minecraft found footage. This seems like some sort of website. The video cuts again. Wait, what? Vanessa Stonelight. The video cuts again before I can get a proper look. This time to footage. It cuts again to apartment stairs. Then outside running in snow, breathing, and the video ends here. Suddenly, things were starting to make sense. These three workers were discussing someone called Owner, debating how NPCs should be treated and mentioning the disappearance of someone named R. Things to me were finally connecting, as from what they'd said, the letters seemed to represent the workers themselves. Clearly their boss was at the center of it all. But that raised questions. Who were the NPCs? Were they the unknown players we'd been watching all along? And maybe even including Alex? To me, it seemed like I was close here, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it, as by turning back to the initial web board that had flashed on screen for only a second, it actually revealed a lot. Appearing as some form of forum with the title Minecraft Found Footage, it also seemed to display information on MCFF, with the main description writing,
MCFF is a hidden company whose goal is to release all classified retro or lost game data. On this site, you may come across limited versions of games of a certain genre, hidden footage, private access information, information about game team members, and so on.
Could that be what all of these videos are about? Footage from a lost version of Minecraft, maybe even leaked data, private builds never meant to be seen by the public. If this was true, what about the weird creature and AP24? What did they have to do with this? Following alongside this, the second web forum screenshot that we get to see reveals a profile, a dossier on what seems to be someone who worked at MCFF, with their full name, where they lived, and even details down to how many children they had, with the last chilling status being
replacement has been found.
Did this Vanessa woman go rogue, leak these files and these videos, and then vanish, dropping the USB only for James to find later, letting it slowly bleed into his Minecraft saves? I really hoped that this would be answered in the next video, as with James writing in the description,
I came across this material by chance while trying to find at least some information about this company. The video was from the user Andrew Dunn here 1243. The video was later deleted within 2 days by the user himself. This is a re-upload.
It only left me confident that I was on the right track and that James had found a new source, perhaps a website, and that he'd guide us to it eventually. We find ourselves in a version of Minecraft that up until now I hadn't seen on this channel. Whoever we're watching opens a book, clearly used as a diary, with pages that write,
Strange noises were heard coming from the nearest cave number 43 called The Throne. Sounds mostly resemble a strange moaning similar to a human cry. A source of the unknown liquid was found. Goal: collect the material.
Upon closing the book, he pushes forwards, breaking his way through the cave system through an opening revealing a lush cave, where chimes can be heard, bats, a similar wind rush, and whatever that is. Whoever we're watching is cautious as they push on, as by their diary, it's evident they've been sent here with their minds set on this goal, and as he collects material from the ground, he pops a record in his diary.
Results done.
I skipped forward into the video, making sure not to miss out on anything. This time, spotting blood on the floor. A trail that he follows.
Blood trails were found in the next entrance of the cave.
The screen continues to flash as the player continues following this bloody trail, eventually coming across the source. There, lying 4 to 5 blocks ahead of him, lay a dog. What thing was big enough to do that? Another entry for the diary.
A dog's corpse was found near the lantern of one of the investigators.
He keeps moving, turning around and avoiding the blood in hopes of eliminating crossing paths with whatever did such a thing. But as he does, he only comes across more blood, a lot more. Yet he descends further into this dark cave, unsure of what is to come next. And yet there's more blood. He follows the trail only to look up in utter shock. A body. He gets closer. The video cuts here, and we're left with what seemed like a boy rocking in the corner of a room. Who in the world is that? Now, with this video concluded, all I could think about was the mention again of the odd liquid. I wondered if this was the same liquid found in the apartment mentioned in the report video, the same place where someone was potentially murdered. If this was the case, this channel was about to launch itself from Minecraft to real life. And with that, what seemed like a boy rocking in the corner of a room featured towards the end of this video. I wondered if this was connected to the family and friendly video, where we watched a boy playing with their dog. Either way, all that was left now was to add this unknown player to the character tracker and shift on over to the description.
Further investigation cancelled.
These workers were investigating something, and whether it was this monster, whatever else was out there, there was only one way to find out. This video starts out with someone with only half a heart, walking in absolutely nothing, with only some type of code in the top left hand corner. It takes a moment until something appears in the distance. A room, a containment of what looked like the original place W had first built the monolith. This player, whoever they were, tries to open chat, but can't speak, so they observe, taking in the entire room, finding out the entire building was completely indestructible. It's here, after circling around, focusing on the odd block in the monolith tower, he finds a book laying on a lectern. When opening it, it reveals the words:
System details, Minecraft version, IGNF dev, MC ver, code 1.0, system, Windows 7, Java ver, blank, memory, 278,414,344B, S-name, John Carr, Nick, Fenoria2258, go, find it.
This seemed like a book similar to what the previous unknown worker had in the cave. The player turns the page.
Finish, step, find, repeat.
The player backs out from the book, heading outside and again trying to mess with the containment facility. Yet he can't, ending the final video on the channel with him walking into the abyss. This video was so short that nothing had seriously caught my attention apart from the odd code on the top left hand corner and the words find step, find repeat. Was this a motto for the findings of hidden Minecraft versions, for hidden files relating back to the workers and the website MCFF forum? For now, the best thing I could do was solve the string of code that when decoding came out to the words RGNFDev 1.0 feature testification. This sounded to me like a version of Minecraft, leading me to taking a Google search, where a wiki page revealing information on not just blocks, but backstory on the introduction and development of this version that I'd never heard before all popped up, and which this time I'll leave up to you to investigate. Because if I'm honest, this is where I decided to end my investigation, as to me, it seemed like this channel and this mystery was ongoing. What was clear was that there were multiple players affected by this corporation, that MCFF were clearly dealing with the leaker, a leaker that dumped a USB later found by James, revealing creature testing, unknown versions, monoliths capable of changing game data, a potential missing person, and quite possibly a murder. And yet most of all, an answer to where these disturbing Minecraft videos James had found were truly coming from.